What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Nerdcore Podcast, episode 334. This is the podcast that reviews the movies and talks that nerd shit. Right here with the nerds. You're going to hear the whole show alongside my wonderful co-host, Young Yoda. How are you?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show.
Late as always, right? We're late, but
you are the reason we are late.
I was sick, man. I was sick. Can't blame me.
This is tea that I'm sipping on. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I was actually eating right now. I was eating an apple, and I was also playing Smash Bros. But I was eating. But we're here to do our third review of Science Fiction Month here at the Nerdcore, and I'm glad that we were able to do this. I thought I was like, oh crap, I thought you weren't messaging me, so like, my notifications were coming in. I was like, crap, we might not do anything tonight. Then I don't want to do double up,
And then you see I sent link question.
Yeah, but you just had to say that when I was eating my apple.
It's like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I'm coming.
Yeah, but how you doing, Brad?
Doing well, Ro. Doing well.
Yeah.
For as well as can be,
Well, yeah. That's kind of the way it works around here, right? As good as you can be.
I mean, I could be worse. I could be better, but I'm where I'm at. It ain't too bad.
Yep. They're going to reopen the country before you even get a chance at the quarantine, right?
I was hoping for another fucking check, but okay.
Yeah. Didn't get a taste of that quarantine, apparently, but, I did get a check, right?
Well, we might be quarantined for a second time after all this. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was watching the news and, what's it called? They're like, oh, it's going to make a resurgence in the fall, but it just comes down to the way that we tackle it. So hopefully, people learned, and this time around in the what's it called, when it comes back in the fall, then we go ahead and learn from our mistakes, and we tend to do a better job. But yeah, and that's what I was watching and I was listening to.
Yeah, and it's hard making those cultural changes, like shaking hands. That's been a really difficult one.
Bro, I don't shake hands. I fist bump, bro. So
I fist bump now, or elbow, or kick each other's foot.
Kick each other's foot.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do, dude. I've been noticing a lot. Some people have been, we're doing pretty good. You guys are enjoying these episodes on YouTube as well, and thanks to StreamYard and all that. So thank you all for enjoying the content.
And we even got another Patreon supporter. And Tony upped his pledge. Or upped his pledge
Michelle's
again.
Michelle's back too. She updated her information, so she's back. But also Mega Wave joined us on Patreon, so thank you. Just in time, because tomorrow I do plan on us doing the mini pod that Tony put a prompt for. So yeah, thank you to Mega Wave for that. That was awesome. And we don't deserve it. We don't at all. But they somehow want us to have their money.
I mean, if I can have the ego here a little bit and not humble brag. I mean, we've done over 500 something episodes.
Yeah,
we're getting probably close to 600. We put in work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's good. People have reached out and have noticed that.
Yeah, you see, I just abandoned the hat by now. I'm just showing off the hair now.
I mean, your hair good. Yours good.
Yeah, it's good now. It's good now.
Dude, I'm going into my wild man phase. Like, this is about to grow out, and then this is just I'm gonna be like Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord, dude! Don't bring that up. But yeah, Joe Dirt. That's crazy.
be left at the Grand Canyon by my parents.
Good Lord. All right. Well, we have a movie to talk about, and we're gonna go ahead and get to that because this month has been Science Fiction Month here in the Nerdcore, and we have our third pick of the month, and that is District 9 by Neil Blomkamp, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about this film. But if you have not seen this film, then go ahead and get out of here because there's gonna be spoilers, of course. You know what? You know the drill by now. If you've never seen this movie, click off. If you do, if you've never seen it but you don't care about spoilers, keep listening. But your spoiler warning has been advised, and it's going to be in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. There we go. We're in spoiler territory. And we're gonna go in here. Let me go ahead and introduce the film for you guys. District 9 is a 2009 South African science fiction action film directed by Neil Blomkamp, written by Neil Blomkamp, Glamp, and Terry Tatchell, Terry Tatchell, and produced by Peter Jackson and Caroline Cunningham. It is a co-production of New Zealand, the United States, and South Africa. The film stars South Africa. The film stars, uh, sh- wow, Charlito Copley, Jason Cope, and David James. Didn't get any one of those wrong. And was adapted from Blomkamp's 2006 short film Alive in Joburg. The film is particularly presented in a found footage format by featuring fictional interviews, news footage, and video from surveillance cameras. The story, which explores three themes of humanity, xenophobia, and social segregation, begins in an alternate 1982 when an alien spaceship appears over Johannesburg, South Africa, when a population of sick and malnourished insectoid aliens are discovered on the ship. The South African government confines them to an internment camp called District 9. Years later, during the government's relocation of the aliens to another camp, one of the confined aliens named Christopher Johnson, who is about to try to escape from Earth with his son and return home, crosses paths with a bureaucrat leading the relocation named Wikus van der Meer. I am not going to try that anymore. The title and premise of District 9 was inspired by events in Cape Town's District 6 during the apartheid era. Uh, a viral marketing campaign for the film began in 2008 at San Diego Comic Con. While the theatrical trailer debuted in July 2009, District 9 was released by TriStar Pictures on August 14, 2009 in North America and became a financial success, earning over $210 million at the box office. It also received acclaim from critics who praised the film's direction, performances, themes, and story, with some calling it one of the best science fiction films of the 2000s, and garnered numerous awards and nominations, including 4 Academy Award nominations for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Visual Effects, and Best Film Editing. And this was shot by Trent Opalak. Opalak. And the budget and the film is an hour and 42 minutes. No, bad. An hour and 52 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. So it's like,
what's the budget?
Hold on, it's 112 minutes. Here we go. It is 100. Yeah, it's an hour and 52 minutes. The budget was $30 million. So
what did it make in the box office?
$210 million.
That's a hit.
It
surprises me a sequel hasn't come out.
I don't think we need a sequel. I think we get it from the ending that it was very clear that, whether he came back or not, that wasn't the lesson that was.
I agree with that, but it does leave an opening for a sequel if they ever wanted to do it.
Yeah, but I get you when they say you're surprised because, usually big numbers like that, they're like, oh no, let's rush a sequel out already. Let's do this. So, no, I get why you're like kind of surprised about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brad, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this movie. It's not my favorite from this month. Still I loved it. Snowpiercer is my favorite, of course, so far. But this one and 12 Monkeys are just, they're pretty damn good. I mean, this has
been a good month. This has been a good month in our movie watching. I've really enjoyed it. I really think we should do more sci-fi months.
Yeah, more sci-fi months. We probably will. Sci-fi is a vast genre, just like foreign language film month. It's constantly coming back because, there's a lot of movies that we can talk about. But yeah, I love this movie. I think it's one of the most unique science fiction films. I think it's probably one of the most nuanced science fiction films because it has a really good message behind it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Brad?
I mean, I gotta say, this movie to me is really up there as something different and something that's probably one of the better movies. I'm not gonna say that because there are better movies of this in the modern sci-fi era, but I think within that time frame of the late 2000s, I
Yeah.
think this is one of the most different and better sci-fi movies to come out through those years.
Mhm.
And I've seen this before. This is my second time watching it,
Yeah, my
so
first time.
nothing really came as a surprise from it. But um, I mean, there's humor to it.
Mhm.
There's the documentary feel is different. You don't really get that. You usually just got that from like Cloverfield,
Yeah.
being the main one that pops up into my mind. Um,
No shaky cam.
there was a little shaky cam in
I really
certain
like.
parts, a little bit. It wasn't Cloverfield shaky cam, thank God.
Yeah.
I've been puking everywhere,
Yeah.
but
Maybe Matt Reeves, but damn, that
I,
movie was shaky.
I mean, I really like the plot and the different, like, it's showing, they're trying to move what they see as a lesser being out, because
Mhm.
they don't want them around anymore,
Mhm.
and really kind of goes into that whole class,
Mhm.
um, those class issues. But in this case, instead of the wage gaps, it's usually a whole different race,
Yeah.
the alien race. So out of there,
Mhm. And how they want to go back to their home planet, but they can't. It's kind of like, in a sense, what's it called? A lot of the people who probably lived during apartheid, they probably wanted to go back to they wanted to go back to the way their country was at a time, and it just wasn't happening anymore because the Africa that was pre-apartheid was just not there anymore.
hmm
Apartheid completely took over. And looking at this with the lens of the U.S., this is completely like the story of the Native Americans and the what's it called well, not the Native, because the Native Americans didn't jump here, like they didn't come here out of nowhere. They've always been here,
yeah.
but like people like
But
um,
they can't go back to what it
yeah,
was
they can't
before.
go back to their land because their land is not theirs anymore. You know, it's just the idea of like xenophobia, and really just this movie is like incredibly relevant 11 years later.
Well, and this movie to me is, I even tweeted about this. It's that story of redemption.
Hmm.
It is that story where a man is totally wrong, and in
Hmm.
order to figure that out, he literally becomes one of them.
Yeah, yeah, literally putting yourself in the shoes of the people that you're constantly fighting against. There, it's also just it's interesting how they depict the people who are so against the aliens, and just kind of like that one guy is like, oh, I love my job because I get to shoot you guys, and like just how incredibly xenophobic people get, and just how it twists people, just their minds, and just
Well,
how
and it's just showing another form that was racism right there.
yeah. Yep. I do got to say, I love the look of this film. The music was awesome. I found the documentary style a little bit,
It was different. It wasn't. It's not my favorite thing, especially with the shaky
Mhm.
cam moments. I know why they did it. I know to
Yeah, I know why.
progress the story. I know why they did it. It's not my favorite thing. I think in certain parts, just based on the budget, I don't think they had the best CGI in certain areas. Now they had really great CGI in certain parts, like when he was in his ultimate form robot.
The
That was
biggest
pretty good.
the biggest plot armor I've ever seen. Holy crap! That thing was taking shots left and right. You would think that's the Incredible Hulk, not a
Well,
freaking.
I mean, you're surprised he didn't die at the end there. Uh,
Yeah,
what 50 cal pierced him twice. A Gatling gun.
he got run over many times.
Yeah. So I mean that alien technology was built
It was
to withstand a beating. That's for
yeah,
sure. But
yeah,
I really liked, there was the scenes where he's being made to test the guns, and you
yeah,
can just, those were really well thought out and well shot scenes,
yeah.
and the
Well
CGI
performed.
with those was really good. And
Yeah.
you got that emotional feeling of he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do anything for these people, and they were forcing him, and to the point where he actually killed someone.
Yeah, and he didn't want to do that. He felt like this is not part of what I was I'm supposed to be doing. Like I didn't even know you guys had this damn alien in here. And I found the word I was trying to say. What's it called? I just remembered it. I found the documentary style a little bit distracting. I think it
Mhm.
distracted me a lot from like just the way that this movie kind of progresses. I understand why it's needed, and it's probably one of the reasons why what's it called? It's not a near per. It's why it's almost like a near perfect movie to me. Is because of that documentary style. Everything else, though, just the story, just like cinematography, everything else is great. The
I
bad,
mean, I
it is,
mean, they definitely. I think documentary style gives it way different feel than we've seen in other sci-fis. Like I said, the only
mm,
one I can think of that is kind of like that is Cloverfield.
yeah,
And when did Cloverfield come out? I think it was after this,
2009.
2009, same time. So
I
yeah,
watched
that's kind of weird.
Cloverfield. Let's go ahead and do this live on air, right? Because we are usually what's it called? What's it called? Love to
We're
do.
never prepared.
Oh,
We were never Boy Scouts.
oh wow! By the way, Cloverfield is on Netflix right now.
I'm not
Um,
watching it.
2008, 2008, Brad. Cloverfield
Okay.
was 2008. I'm gonna watch it because it's Matt Reeves and I want to rewatch that. But at the same time, like, ugh, so much.
Can you turn
I,
off the shaky cam?
I need to finish a Clockwork Orange right now, so that's what I need.
Ooh, good movie. Great
Oh
movie.
yeah, yeah. We're talking about that on Cinema Condition, so that's rewatching that. But yeah, I gotta say this is really good. I really like just how by the end, he realizes what the real lesson is to be learned here, and he becomes one of them. But he doesn't lose his sense of humanity, and he still loves his wife, and he still what's called wishes that he could be with her. But he's fine. He's full alien, and whether he comes back, whether Christopher comes back or not, that's just not the question anymore. It's just
It's not the point of the story anymore.
not the point of the story anymore.
I
The,
mean, this like I said, this is the story of redemption of a man who mistreated these people and in the end ended up saving them. Or that's how it's supposed to show.
yup, exactly. And I gotta say, I really what's it called? I really gotta hand it off to Neil Blomkamp for that. Just the incredible direction and story, and the other writer too. But this is just directed beautifully. Like it's pretty much. I can't believe this is a directorial debut, Brad.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, the plot, the story, the only issues I had with it were certain parts. The CGI wasn't that great. You could tell they kind of went a little less on the money in parts there.
yeah. Well, you
With
kind of
only
have to with
with only a $30 million budget, though,
yeah.
that ain't much. Um,
Mhm.
I'm sitting here saying $30 million isn't much,
Yeah,
but in movie terms, it really isn't.
yeah. And I love how what's it called? I love how it's also has a huge commentary, not just on what's it called on aliens being separate, but Nigerians are also living in that District 9.
Hmm.
You know, and it seems that the more like South African, just what is usually thought of white Africans. What's it called? They're living in the rich part.
Well, and it's great how they show the suburbs where he's having his party and ends up puking all over his cake.
Yeah,
Um, and then you have the fast food restaurant kind of in
mhm,
between everything. What was it, like the Hamburglar or something? It was some German
yeah, something like
schnitzel.
that.
Um, and then you show what they basically call the slums, and then they're trying to relocate them to the tents, and even he's saying, "Don't go to the tents. It's much smaller than this."
Yup. All right, so look, I got something right here on a potential sequel. On August 1st, 2009, 2 weeks before District 9 was released to cinemas, Neil Blomkamp hinted that he intended to make a sequel if the film was successful enough. During an interview on the Rude Awakening 94.7 High-Veld stereo breakfast radio show, he alluded to it, saying there probably will be. Nevertheless, he revealed that the next project is unrelated to the District 9 universe. In an interview with Rotten Tomatoes, Blomkamp stated that he was totally hoping for a follow-up. I haven't thought of a story yet, but if people want to see another one, I'd love to do it. Blomkamp has posed the possibility of the next movie in the series being a prequel. In an interview with Empire Magazine and posted on April 28, 2010, Charlton Copley. Hold on, what do we got here? Why am I pressing? Uh, Charlton Copley suggested that a follow up, while very likely, would be about 2 years away. 2 years away, given his and Neil Blomkamp's current commitments. And then, in an interview with IGN in 2013, June 2013, Blomkamp said, I really want to make a District 9 sequel. I generally do. The problem is I have a bunch of ideas and stuff that I want to make. and I'm relatively new to this. I'm about to make my third film, and now the pattern that I'm starting to realize is very true. Is that you lock yourself into a film beyond the film you're currently working on. But it just doesn't work for me. Referring to a potential sequel, Blomkamp said he wants to make a District 10 at some point. Yeah, I understand exactly. Well, I mean, I don't understand. I've never really made a film for a big production company, right? But I understand what he's kind of get hinting at. You know, he's like, I'm working so hard on what I'm already doing. I cannot focus on doing a sequel while I'm trying to finish the film I'm already working on.
Mhm.
So, whether a District 10 actually happens or not, it's fine. But I think that I like the idea of a prequel more than a sequel.
I mean, maybe seeing why the aliens came to Earth,
Yeah.
that was kind of left open ended. They never really said really any of that, or and my guess is because they're going back. Um, who knows?
Hmm.
Like because that's one thing they're trying to do. Maybe they ran out of fuel, maybe it broke and they fixed it. So I don't know. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. That's not really the important part of this movie. The important part is the story of redemption, the story of survival in a way,
Hmm.
and actually the story of how government can even try and sell its own people.
Exactly. That was one of the big things I was talking about. Was one of the big things about this film is that hey, what's going on, Miss Chillzone?
Mr. Chill Zone.
Hopefully you're not getting the movie spoiled for you right now. What's it called? One of the big things about the film that stood out to me was the fact that the way that media kind of sways the government sways the media and what it's going to be portraying. So instead of it being shown that he became an alien because he inhaled the liquid, it's actually being shown that oh no, he had sex with one of the aliens, so you need to be away from him. Kind of making it sound like what's it called? Very, very
Well,
what's it,
it
immoral,
basically destroying his reputation is what they're doing,
pretty much.
and
Pretty much.
putting the public against him.
Putting the public against them and kind of showing what the power of government has in a stage like this.
Although I will admit, it led to some very funny scenes of the Nigerians go, "Did you really fuck that alien there?"
Yeah. No, and I just love every
To wear a condom.
like there. I just love every single time he's with the Nigerian warlord, and he's just like, I'm gonna have that fucking arm. I'm gonna take that fucking arm.
Give me the arm,
Give me the
so I
arm.
can eat it and have your power. God damn it!
Yeah. Instead, honestly, he could have just told him, like, dude, you want to just come with my friend and I? We're gonna literally get the thing that's about to make him, what's it called, go back home. Like, you could probably take a
Yeah,
little sniff or something. But that I love it. I love this movie, and I think it's probably one of the best science fiction films I've ever seen. I got to say that for a directorial debut, it's high up there. But I understand why a possible sequel cannot happen, and I just hope that what's it called, Neil Blomkamp keeps making great movies like this because this is great. I know a lot of people weren't as receptive to Chappie, and I have not seen Chappie.
I have not seen Chappie either. I've been wanting to see Chappie. I was actually wanting to see it in theaters, but it kind of never happened.
Yeah, but Shield Zone, what's it called? Yeah, you should have seen it by now. It's 2009, bro. 11 years later, you should have seen this one at one point.
I say even if it's spoiled, still watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoiled it pretty good, but it's worth a watch. I think it's one of those sci-fi movies that is more deserving of a watch than say, I'll just say it, The Martian. I mean, and I love The Martian.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
It's different. It's way different.
especially it being like a South African film. I was like, wow, like a South African, what's it called, science fiction film. I've never seen one like this. I've never seen one before. So I was like, wow, it was really nice to get kind of a different feel to it. So I got to say, I love this film. I go ahead and give it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was great. I think that there's just the documentary style is a little bit distracting. The CGI at points is a little iffy, but for a directorial debut, this is on the park. One of the most unique films I've ever seen.
Yeah, for a sci-fi genre, this is one of the more unique takes on it. And I gotta agree with you. The same reasoning that you said, the documentary style, like you said, low distracting.
Yeah.
I'm not big into shaky cam. At least it wasn't Cloverfield shaky cam. So
Yeah.
thank God it was only like minimal amounts of shaky cam.
Yeah.
And then the CGI, it just in certain parts you can tell maybe the budget just wasn't there to really perfect that. And
Yeah.
that's why I give it an 8.75 out of 10.
Nice. Nice. What's it called? Mr. Chilson, thank you for hanging out at the last minute. And you came to see the show where we're actually serious. But don't worry. Brad and I will be back on Friday for the Nerdcore live show this week, and then Saturday and Sunday. And we'll come back and talk all that wonderful nonsense and nerd talk. But next week we'll be coming back to you guys to talk about Pitch Black and end the acclaimed
Sci-Fi month.
Sci-Fi month. Yep. As for Patreon supporters, thank you all for your wonderful pledges, and make sure that you guys, keep an eye out for your mini pod this week. As always, I want to shout out the the associate producers, and the executive producers. Associate producers Cassie and Sarah, thank you so much. You guys do a lot for us. You guys help us out so much. Executive producers, we got Grayson Barker 98 on Instagram, or Lord One Bar on Twitter. Grayson, thank you for being the OG executive producer. We love you for that. We also have Shane. Brad, where can you find Shane?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/Estebar. Go watch him now. He's streaming way more than ever. And also on Twitter at Estebar Twitch.
Yep. And make sure you go check out his new video too.
Yes. He actually does a opening for penance.
Nice. We also have our $25 tier executive producers back on the map, of course. It is the Real Nerdy Dad on Twitter. Woo! Thank you so much for being an executive producer and being back with us, even though we understand why you put down your price. But once again, also we have Brown Rice 1996 on Twitter and Instagram.
Rice, you're my boo.
Yeah. He says he was napping, so he apologized. Don't worry about it, man. This is the more serious show. This is not the fun one. This is the fun one. What am I talking about?
Hey, I had fun.
I had fun too.
Damn.
I had fun. So, as always, we will catch you guys next on the next episode. As always, the Nerdcore _ on Twitter, the Nerdcore on Instagram. And without further ado, Brad, it has been a wonderful time. And let's go ahead and set them out.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being a host as always. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I guess just to end this episode, I'll say watch your schnitzel. Young Yoda out.